G'day, I'm Jamie Hansen, the farm manager for the LDS Ranch, where we produce raisins here for the welfare project. And on any given year we'll have $750,000 to $1 million worth of raisins out here, because these have retail value to us. We grow them, we take them to the packer, they custom pack them for us, and now they have retail value. They're our raisins, they're putting them in a box. We pay them to put them in a box. So we want to save as many of these raisins as possible. People will have lots of different ways of making bundles, but we want to do it a uniform way so it's all the same throughout the whole vineyard, and that way when people are boxing, picking up the bundles and putting them into the raisin bins, that they don't have to keep reinventing how to handle each bundle. And also the bundle that we've worked out, what I call a modified lunch sack roll, is the best way to keep from having excess spillage and waste, that we throw a lot of raisins away if they're stuck to the papers, etc. The old style biscuit roll is a no-no here on the farm, because in the tight curl of that biscuit roll there will always be a wad of raisins that you either have to really drag out of there or they get thrown out with the papers and burned. So with that, we'll go ahead and give you a little demonstration on what to do with the trays. When we have a tray here, the first thing we want to do is look around and see any of the excess stuff off the side, any of the little bunches, groups of stuff that you can pick up. Just what I put back on the tray there was probably at least 20 to 30 cents worth of raisins. That may not seem like much, but if you times that by every single tray out here, that can add up really quick, thousands of dollars. It would be really easy on one single row to lose several $100s worth of raisins that we just left on the floor. One of the things also we want to do is any of the weed seed heads of the various different weeds that are out here, we want to get those out of the trays. The packer will reject a bin of trays of raisins if it has too many weed seeds in it. Feathers, bird feathers, glass, rocks, animal droppings, dead animals. We want to get all that stuff out of there. Any one of those things, they'll send a bin back to me if it has any of those things in it. And then I pull out the feather and send it back to them. The leaves at this point aren't necessarily that bad. You don't have to spend a lot of time taking out all the leaves. But if they're attached to a stick, we want to get that out of there, because that stick will poke holes in the paper when you roll it up. I like to make sure that I don't have anything sticking out the ends. If there's excess sand on it, take that also away. Make sure nothing's hanging out the ends. And then with the papers, take and physically push it into a column. Once you've mashed it into a column, and you want to do that with the papers and not your bare hands, otherwise you'll have hamburger hands after about half a row. So use the papers, smash it into a column, because then it makes this part go really easy. You fold it over in thirds, and you want a good tight overlap, not a wimpy overlap. That's a booby trap for the guys that come to pick up the raisins when we put them in the bins, and then we spill $5 worth of raisins on the ground. Because that's what this is. A good full tray is worth about $5 retail value of raisins. So fold it over in thirds, good tight overlap, make a little fold on the bottom, kneel on it or step on it, then use your two hands to put the rest together. Some people will hold this with one hand and try to do this one-handed. No, go ahead and kneel on it. Then you can use both hands to do the rest. Make a little fold at the top, and you want little folds at the bottom and top rather than a big fold, because then there's not as much room for the raisins inside. And if you have a big full tray of raisins, the papers will tear if it's too full and you haven't left enough room for them. So a little fold, and you want one fold, not two or three, and not a crumple. A crumple or two or three folds will make them too hard to get undone when we're boxing the raisins, when we're putting them in the bins. Then put your hand here, otherwise raisins can spill out here, and then just fold this over in half. Pick it up, like a little lunch sack and shake it. And that way any of the raisins that are up here in the fold will fall down. Otherwise they'll be stuck there and be lost to us. Then put the bundle up at the top of the terrace. We want the bundle up at the top of the terrace, at the peak of the terrace, and not down here because we got to have room for the tractor to drive through here without running over the bundle. So put it up at the top of the terrace or the peak of the terrace, and then it'll be out of the way of the tractors. Not down in the valley, because if it does rain on us, then it'll be sitting in rain. It'll be sitting in water. Excuse me. And do CPR on it. Smash it down. You don't have to breathe on it or anything, just the pushing method of CPR. And then otherwise it will have a tendency to flop back open unless you've pressed on it. You want the fold side to the west or northwest, because that's where the prevailing winds come from. If this were around the other way and you got gusts of wind, it would blow it open like a parachute. And lastly, you want to have these flaps on the end so that they're even, or the one on top is longer than the one on the bottom to shield out the rain. So in other words, this is not protected from the rain. This is protected from the rain. Okay, so now I'll show you one a little faster. So again, pick out anything that's foreign materials, including feathers, weed seed heads, rock sticks. Pick up any loose bunches that's off the side. Make sure nothing's hanging out the ends. Smash it into a column. Fold it in thirds. Make a little fold and kneel on it. Make a little fold. Put your hand here, fold it in half. Pick it up, shake and bake. Top the terrace, but not down in the valley. CPR.